Hello and welcome to my little channel. Today is September 24th, 2020, and we have to talk about last night's protests and riots because they happened. They happened because the grand jury failed to indict three of the officers involved in Brendan Taylor's unfortunate tragic death. I think everyone knows all that what's happened. Now there was a few cities that did meet the that reached the news that I could find. The first one, since it's my hometown of Austin, at least 11 arrested at protest for Brendan Taylor in downtown. That's right, they were charged with things like obstructing highway passage and city ordinance violations. Only one was arrested for alleging evading arrest. So Austin was probably mostly peaceful. I don't think anyone got hurt, thankfully. Austin's kind of weird like that. They'll protest. Actual protests are more annoying than anything. Um, there's just one from Vice that kind of breaks down the other cities that were protesting. That's right, Temple's old job. So in Louisville, where the incident happened, two police officers were shot while responding to large crowds who were setting fires and damaging property, the police says. Louisville Police Chief Robert Schroeder said that the officers did not have life-threatening injuries. Thank goodness, and I do believe they have the person in custody, which is awesome. Um, I think it says down here. Yeah, the suspect has been named by police, who's charged with wanton endangerment and assault of a police officer. Nice. I don't know what the wanton endangerment is, but I'm guessing it's a crime to willy nilly shoot your gun endangering people. I'm pretty sure it was named after someone important. Haven't really looked into it. I might look into it another time. Let's see here. Of course, Portland, our favorite city that continues to riot, um, completely out of control. They can't seem to catch a break. So a handful of protesters broke off and target the police precinct with rocks and fire, Oregon Live reported. When the police moved to disperse the crowd, one of the protesters threw a Molotov cocktail at the officers. The incident was captured on video. I guess that's kind of tame compared to their standards, which kind of sucks because that's the standard now. Now, of course, in Seattle, late Wednesday night, the police announced that officers at the scene has declared ongoing protests an unlawful assembly after multiple fires have been set, explosives have been thrown at officers, and property damaged in the surrounding areas. 13 arrests have been made. Then in Denver, this one gets a little bit more spicy. A peaceful protest at State Capitol had wrapped around 9 p.m. The demonstrators were winding down. A car drove into the group of protesters near Colfax Avenue and Broadway. The Denver Police Department responded to the incident and confirmed that there were no injuries and one man has been detained. Police did not say if any charges are being brought up against the suspect. The video of the incident shows a small group of protesters surrounding the car and before it accelerated. The protesters were trying to get the driver to turn around, saying people were still on the street, according to Shelley Broadberry, a reporter with the Denver Post. Personally, just get out of the way of the cars. This is going to continue to happen. Vehicles are going to drive down streets. They probably took a turn, didn't realize what was going on, especially since they live in Denver, and this happened in Kentucky. Uh, I'm not going to say it's right. I'm not going to say it's that they should. I mean, you should be able to peaceful protest and be safe while doing it. So I'm kind of torn on this, but I'm pretty sure the driver didn't really want to turn around. There was no room to turn around. Uh, it's a bad situation that went to worse, and they did the only thing that they could do. I mean, I guess they could bet. Well, actually, looking at this video, it doesn't look like they could back up. I think there's a protester there. Either way, you surround the vehicle, they're only going to have a couple options: either plow through you or try to back up and hopefully not hit anyone. And that's under ideal conditions where it's just a lone car. Of course, the next one is going to be Atlanta. Atlanta also protests and rioted. So crowds begin. Oh, actually, I read that one. Police in. Oh, I never got Atlanta. So that was Denver. So Atlanta. Crowds began to gather in protest around 5 p.m. Later in the evening, the protesters made their way to the Capitol building where they met Georgia State Patrol troopers who eventually deployed tear gas against the protesters when they refused to disperse. I think they started making arrests. This article doesn't go to how many that they made. Uh, then we got Buffalo. Police in Buffalo says a person in a pickup truck drove through a crowd of protesters outside City Hall, injuring one woman on a bike. Another video shows protesters confronting the female driver and slashing the tires of the pickup truck before speeding away. Police says that they're investigating the incidents. And that's kind of like what I say. You don't really want to give these people any reasons to plow through you. Just kind of move out of the way if you can. It's been done. Oh, I've done it before. I've driven through a group of people back in my tour in Iraq. I was during the Abu Ghraib prison release. The way it was stated, you had the Iraqi area, military area where the prisoners were being released from. That goes down the road where my camp was. And unfortunately, we went out through that exit, which intersected the prisoner grab release. I didn't run over anybody. All I did was drive very slowly, honked my horn a couple of times, and the crowd split, and nobody was harmed. A place like Iraq, if they could do it, we could do it. That's my only advice. Um, I get it, it's a crappy situation followed by another crappy situation, but we have to be united. Well, yeah, united in a set of rules that we must follow. The roads are for vehicles. Yes, I understand pedestrians have the right of way in most cases, but you really have to share the road. You have to be, and this goes both from drivers and protesters. You kind of have to be aware of your surroundings, um, especially from being a driver. You gotta look ahead to see if there's a crowd. If you see a crowd, if you can, make a detour. And the same thing with protesters. They have every right to be on the road. You're blocking their entrance. Be a little courteous. Make a path, especially if it's just one vehicle, and just let them pass. Protests only work if they're peaceful. Um, right now, right now, I don't really care about the organization Black Lives Matter, and I don't really care about their causes. I don't care about these protest causes because violence tends to follow. And that's not a good thing. I want to be on the side of these people. I sympathize with their struggle. I sympathize why they're protesting. But all this nonsense, all this violence, all the attacks against the cops, all the attacks against Republicans and voters makes me not caring. That's really all I have to say. Um, Hopefully, you found this somewhat informative. Please smash the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, and evening.